And then I think it's also really important, I spoke about this on Instagram recently, to like, okay, so let's say you do indulge, let it go. Like, do not start that shame spiral. Because a very common thing that will happen is like, someone will come to me and be like, well, I ate a whole like thing of almond butter because I was like trying not to do sugar. And then I did that and now I feel terrible. And, you know, I woke up the next day saying, oh, I'm going to like not eat, or, you know, it kicks off this crazy downward spiral. And now you've ruined days when you could have just chilled out, paused, let it go, and move on from it.
Welcome to Black Belt Beauty Radio, a podcast fueled by a passion to support your journey in developing your most beautiful and optimal performance in life. Each episode is driven with the intention to elevate your mind. When we elevate our mind, we elevate our life. So get ready. It's time to rise. Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Black Belt Beauty Radio. Today's guest is Alison Marras. Alison is a nutritional therapy practitioner. She's a mindset coach, a food blogger, and an entrepreneurial mommy who has the most amazingly infectious energy that immediately makes you want to be her friend. True story. Alison has helped hundreds of women to heal digestion issues, optimize hormone health, and brings joy into the process of creating a lifestyle that is fueled with optimal nutrition. She's so passionate about using food as medicine with fun included in the process of cooking, meal prepping, and overall just choosing foods that nourish the body. In this super fun talk, we discuss how she up-leveled her healing process with Hashimoto's, her inspiration to becoming a nutritional therapy practitioner, why she views food as medicine, why mindset is a major player in having healthy relationships with your body and your diet, her powerfully effective methodologies to fortify mindset, savory starts, Alison's breakfast foods that optimize blood sugar levels and energy levels, Alison's easy, stress-free tips to create a lifestyle fueled with optimal nutrition, why controlling your blood sugar levels are so important, mindful eating, the important health and mindset benefits that come with mindful eating, Alison's 5-day mindful eating challenge and her mindful eats 6-week program. We talk about how to recognize when you are emotionally eating and what you can do to avoid the pitfall that can come with that. The power of eliminating guilt and shame from your diet and food choices, and so much more. I dare all of you listening to check out Alison's IG profile, Food by Mars. It's in the show notes. And not immediately want to learn more from her. She's the perfect blend of sweet, authentic, and powerful with her brilliant approach to taking the best care of your body and health by way of mindset and nutrition. I love this talk big time, you guys, and I trust that you will too. Enjoy. Boom. We're recording. Hi.
Hi.
You're so cute. You have such great energy. I have to say, it's like, we've been connected now through our girl, Gabrielle, for, like a handful of months, right? Since last fall. And, we've really been exchanging more so on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And I have to just say that, you really have an energy that comes out of the screen, girl, like with your stories and your posts. And it's something that I really appreciate because, good energy is, that's what it's about, right?
You're so sweet. I feel the same way about you. It's like contagious, your positivity and running around on the beach, making me feel like I need to get on a plane immediately.
What's funny about that is that so many people comment about, the beach runs. I've literally been away from home where I'm not running the beach and I'll get DMs like, miss your beach runs. And it's funny because,
we're living vicariously through you.
It's awesome because sometimes I'm like, it's probably redundant, but you know what? I'm here to share lifestyle. So whatever, this is what's happening, but it's cool to know that it's infectious and, it does something positive for people. So that feels good.
Absolutely.
Wait, so question, Gabrielle and you guys go back a bit. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Quite a few years. Mm-hmm.
How was she's your doctor or?
Yeah. Yeah, so we actually met because I was going to this like thyroid yoga event. I don't know if you know, the name is escaping me right now. Fern Olivia. She has like a thyroid yoga program, and she was doing this like day retreat, and Gabrielle was speaking. And I remember like, I was like, oh, like, I'm sure it's going to be about like gut health or whatever. Like I felt like I knew it was going to be about, and she just like blew me away with everything that she knows about protein and muscle and how that affects the thyroid and all the other stuff. And it's just something that no one's really talking about to that extent, because it's such a loaded topic. But I just like fell in love with her. I was like, oh my God, you're so smart and just so amazing. And we've been, friends, and she's helped treat me as my doctor for years now. So
that's amazing.
Serendipitously. Yeah, happened. It was perfect.
She's incredible. So back then, because you have an autoimmune issue, right?
Yes.
Hashimoto's, is that
Correct.
right?
Yeah. So I have Hashimoto's autoimmune disease. So it affects the thyroid. And so it's hypothyroid, like it's underperforming.
Right. So back then, at the time she wasn't your doctor, and then she basically helped you to kind of get into the state where you are now, which is you're kicking butt with it, right? Essentially.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like.
I'm really happy that I've been able to get it into remission. I was able to have a baby, which was something I was never sure if that would be possible for me. And so when I had first met Gabrielle, I had like just been diagnosed, I think. And so I was really just starting on the road and collecting all this data, because anyone with autoimmune disease or chronic illness knows you kind of have to be a part-time doctor and nutritionist yourself, just from all the research you have to do. And it is good, because you do need to be your own health advocate. And that's something I'm always hoping, people will pick up on, is like, really, you have to do your homework, and you have to ask questions and build your team of support and practitioners. So that's certainly what I've done. And, so at that time I was just still kind of collecting and figure things out and doing all that stuff. So, yeah.
So when did you become a nutritional therapy practitioner?
Yeah. I would say that happened a few years ago, and that was already like a couple years after I met Gabrielle. I first started out as a health coach, and that was good, foot in the door and all that great stuff. But then I really wanted to go deeper into really how food can be medicine.
Yes.
And learn more about the science of it and what is it doing, especially, hearing people like Gabrielle speak about, what protein is doing to your muscle and how that's all interrelated to the rest of your body. And so I just wanted that deep understanding. So I went to the Nutritional Therapy Association for that, and it was fabulous. I felt much more confident in my own healing journey. I would say that really up-leveled my own healing journey for sure. And then that of my clients and my practice. So it was a great experience. And then I would say, along the journey, and I blog about this for anyone with Hashimoto's or autoimmune, if you're curious on like the stuff I've done. I've pretty much done it all, because I was obsessed and just really trying to figure out all the different things. There's so much new information coming out all the time of like, try this. So I have that on my blog, but separately, the other really big piece I would say was just like the stress management, the mindset stuff. Like that is so huge. So I got really big into that, because I was eating well. I was doing all that. I was doing the anti-inflammatory diets and the AIP diet and paleo and all this good stuff. And that was serving me very well. But, then I got to a certain point where I was like, okay, but I'm still not in remission. I still don't think I'm like all figured out. I have PCOS as well, and like just other hormonal imbalances that I didn't feel like I could get pregnant and have a baby. And I still had some symptoms. So, the mindset stuff was what took me the rest of the way there. So it's not always the sexiest thing. And when people come to me and I'm like, girl, you need to get your stress in check, or you need to meditate. And they're like, no, but really, what diet do I need to be on? And I'm like, no, really, listen to what I just said.
No, I'm like seriously high-fiving you, because, that's a huge piece to everything I speak to with my brand. It's all about, mindset really rules all, right? I believe that wherever we're looking is where we're going, and how we manage, I kind of frame it like this, like everything in life is just information. And what separates us as humans is two things. The information that we choose to invite into our life, right? And obviously sometimes we're not inviting information. It's just kind of our environment, our surroundings. So then the other part is how we respond or react to the information that we are experiencing in our life. And ultimately, that is the difference in my mind, so having a mindset that is going to be supportive, I frame it as like being on your team, to move through your life with is so essential, autoimmune issue or not. But obviously in this case, like you said, you're doing all the right things, but if you're not managing, this aspect over here, you're only going to go so far. So that's rad. That's rad that you sense that, you captured it, and then you became a mindset coach as well too, because that's part of your practice as well, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. I became a registered yoga teacher. I really dove into the meditation and the breathing part and just read all the books on like self-compassion. And a book I really love is called The Loving Diet by Jessica Flanagan. And Dr. Keisha Ehlers is also amazing. So just like all these gurus in the space. Anatomy of the Spirit is also an amazing book if you're into that. And so I just kind of dove into that and started journaling a lot and incorporating gratitude journals and figuring out my stuff, because I think another pitfall that we have is like, it's for protection, I think, right? Like we numb ourselves or put things away that we don't want to deal with, or what are we going to do? Like deal with it every single day? No, we have like lives to get on with, and we can't always just think about our traumas or emotional baggage or whatever. And so when people would say like autoimmunity and like emotional trauma, and I'm like, what? Nothing happened. Like I'm fine with it. Nothing like that. So I think sometimes a pitfall is that we can segment things so much and get so busy in our day-to-day that we're so disconnected from the stress and the baggage that we're carrying on. So, you could be listening to this and think like, no, I can't think of anything at all. And it's like, well, sit with yourself a little while. And like, that's kind of the power of meditation and the power of journaling, is stuff might just come out. And that's what happened to me, because I'm very, New Yorker, go, go, go type A, like everything's fine. I'm going places. I'm optimistic. I'm not letting anything get to me, which is all well and good. But when you're trying to heal and you're trying to do all this work, you kind of have to look in those corners that maybe you put some stuff and didn't look again for a while. Just good to get in front of that. So
check it. I know. I love that you're speaking to my heart. My audience certainly knows. I mean, two of my greatest methodologies that I essentially kind of prescribe for living a very empowered life, living a life where you feel great and you can kick ass in, is, meditation and journaling, because I've been writing for the majority of my life. I have over 20 years of writing, and it's not it's not, oh, I need to sit down and journal. It's like, no, I have to write. It's my favorite room. That's how I frame it. And, it's a date with myself, as is meditation. And you're so right. It's literally, we're always, and now more than ever, it's like, we're just moving faster and faster. And we have so much coming at us. So to make this time just for yourself, to sit and listen. And it doesn't have to be profound. Like it may very well not be in this day, but all of a sudden over here on this day, you're like, whoa,
where did that come from?
Yeah. Right.
I don't even know I had that. I don't even know I was still pissed about that. What? Like so much. Yes.
It's so interesting. Yeah. That's amazing. So, okay. So from that point, I'm so interested. There's something that you talk about a lot, or you post about on your Instagram. It's kind of savory starts. So the reason why I love this so much, you know why? Because well, and we're kind of like, we're thinking about, I imagine that your meditation and your journaling is done in the morning. Is that?
Yeah. My, at least my gratitude journaling is now with the baby. So I have an 8-month-old, and not so easy to meditate in the morning now. I do that more so after I put her to bed, but yes, that's gratitude journaling happening in the morning.
So you just make some time for you in the morning. You have that as kind of an ongoing ritual, and that has been very helpful to your healing process, and really just like anchoring you and anchoring Alison. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I also read, I forget where I read it recently, but in the first 20 minutes of waking to do gratitude is extremely powerful. And the article that I was reading was just talking about how it essentially rewires the brain, and that's the first thing that you do, like not looking at your phone, not doing any of this other stuff. So I just like drink my water and I'm doing the gratitude. And baby girl is next to me crawling around on the bed or whatever, but it's cute because
it's good vibes.
I like to rub that off on her. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I love that.
And it just takes less than 5 minutes. It takes nothing at all, but to start off thinking about all the wonderful things that you have in your life instead of, oh, I have so much to do. I have to look at my calendar. When's my first call? It's like, don't take the 2 seconds to not do that and do the gratitude. So yes, that is my morning thing for sure.
I love that. And I'm with you on that, because my morning ritual, for just to kind of position it in that way, because it is very kind of mystical. It's quiet. I don't play music. I don't talk. I need to dive into self. And I say that a lot to my clients as well. What are the first thoughts that you're thinking of? And not from a judgmental place, but just to really pay attention, because this is really a very important part of your day. Your mind is like fresh and starting to pay attention to where your thoughts are. And then the next step is starting to, be able to, what I call positive architecting, reframing things that are disempowering, that don't feel good, and leading you in more of a direction that is empowering. So I love that. The next thing, and this goes back to Savory Starts, is so when we think of breakfast, because food's obviously going to be a big part of this conversation with you. I swear to God, your food always makes me hungry, FYI.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
It's so beautiful. Do you take all those pictures yourself?
I do, yeah. One of my loves.
You're so talented. Seriously. Yeah. So, when we think of breakfast, when most people think of breakfast, typically it's like something bready, something sweet, not savory.
Yeah.
My breakfast is savory, but I would love you to just kind of open that up a bit. Like, what is your savory start, and why is that so important? Why do you choose savory over sweet?
Yeah, that's a fabulous question. I'm the hashtag start savory girl. It's like an obsession on my Instagram. So what a normal breakfast will look like is like lunch or dinner is what I normally say. Because to your point, it's like, especially in America and just culturally, we're so used to cereal or a big fruit smoothie bowl, was a craze, and that was supposed to be super healthy and all these things. What else? Like, waffles, pancakes, muffins, exactly. Bagels, donuts. Yes. So all these like fried dough and high carb, high starchy, sugary breakfast that really weigh us down. And so the issue with that is that it spikes our blood sugar. So we don't need obviously we know we don't need all that sugar, all that refined sugar, all that excess, right, in carbs and starchiness. So the second that's our first decision of the day for our meal, we've spiked our blood sugar way, way up. Right. And so it only has way, way down to go because we went so high. And so this is where that blood sugar roller coaster comes into play. And this is where hypoglycemia comes in. This is where stressed adrenals come in, because now your adrenals are activated, because hypoglycemia is an emergency state that the body goes into. And when the body is in this emergency fight or flight state, it's recruiting the adrenals to come into play because it's concerned that you're going to faint or something's going to happen. You need to get sugar immediately. So, two things are happening. Internally, your body is looking to create more glucose. And your brain is like, oh my God, girl, you need more sugar. Go get sugar. And you're like, kind bar, or, just like whatever, like you can find in a vending machine or whatever. Something sweet is going to call out to you. It's very primal. Yeah. Because you need a quick boost of energy before you faint. And so now this is your whole day. So when people are like, I'm hangry, ha, 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 it's like, you're hypoglycemic. I
love that you say that. I honestly, Alison, I don't ever get hangry. And that's
good, girl.
Because I won't go so deep right now into my diet, but it's like, let me tell you, my breakfast is It was this morning and typically is grass-fed bison patty.
Beautiful.
2 6-minute eggs.
Yes.
And then I don't know if you've heard of the baru nuts yet, but they're amazing. And they're this
oh wait, yeah, those big nuts.
They're from Brazil and Peru.
Yes,
and they taste like they're high fiber, high protein. They're amazing. Yeah. So because I like the crunch, Yeah. And not to mention, it's micronutrient dense. But
absolutely,
that's and a little avocado. So it's essentially like
protein
just
and fat.
High protein. I want to hit that muscle protein synthesis.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I don't, and I'm pretty steady and, I'm very active.
Yes.
I typically eat like twice a day. I have dinner early and then maybe sometimes there's a snack in between. But my point going back to the hangry is like, because I'm not a big carb person. I'm not a sugar person at all. I literally don't experience that. When I start to feel like I need fuel again, what happens for me, the signals that I get really tired. I start to like just come down energetically.
Right. And that's like, that's when the blood sugar is going all the way down and now you're just kind of like low energy.
Yeah. And then the minute I eat, I'm like, I'm good, so, but the attitude, the angry part, like you said, that's a different story.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people think that that's like
funny
and normal.
funny, trendy. You know what it is? Because I'll see it on like memes and like it's so funny and it's so normal and it's like, but like your body's going through like so much. It's not that funny. And so when I explain what's actually happening, people are like, oh shit. Like I scare the like seriousness into them. They're like, oh my God, that's terrible.
Oh my God, that's why I love you. Ha ha.
I'm like, yuck it up, but that's not that good for your adrenals. And then, this is just such a cascade. Like once the adrenals are activated day after day after day after day, and that's just the sugar portion. Like we have stress, we have stressful lives, our adrenals are being activated for that. So here we are overusing and overactivating the adrenals. We're beating them up. And then we wonder why we have all these hormonal issues, why we can't sleep, blah, 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 blah. Those are just downstream effects now of the blood sugar roller coaster, essentially. So blood sugar is a foundation, absolutely, that you can get a hold of and control with that very first meal of the day with your breakfast. So I love your breakfast. Mine is similar. It'll be like some turkey sausage. It was this morning that I posted with like, I had some sauteed Brussels sprouts. So it's usually like some kind of greens and meat or fish. Like that's it. It's very simple. It's very simple to prep. I think people get nervous about prep. Like, what do I do? It's not easy. And it's like, no, it really is, I promise, because sauteed ground meat, as you know, takes like 5 minutes. It's so fast.
So fast.
Yeah. Throw in some whatever, kale, like something. It's so quick. So I'm all about the hashes, the like quick sautés. It's good stuff.
I know. I think that's another thing that I love about you and what you create and what you share is, you really take this kitchen work and, this, ability to eat nutrient dense foods. You make it easy. You make it fun. I mean, you have, I mean, I don't know how you feel about the word hack, but I feel like you have a lot of great hacks,
No, I do. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So just because I think that it can be stressful. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's so rad, your approach to it, because you literally, first of all, let's just back up a second and say, let's just say there's people listening who have autoimmune issues or even just like high stress life, right? Because that's very common. Now, thinking about how to incorporate nutrient dense foods and like, how do you create this so that it's a lifestyle? Because that's where we want to be. So we're recording at pretty much almost end of February. This is going to come out before March. And, research has proven that, by the third month of the year, a lot of the New Year resolutions, the habits, so all these habits of being healthy and eating good food, like it's gone. It's out the window because now people are like doing life and,
life gets in the way.
Exactly.
It's hard. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So you have created some systems. I mean, I know that you have like ebooks, you have all kinds of tools and tips and can we talk about, what for you, I would like to know when you started to get into the practice of meal prepping and creating this, system in your kitchen. What was that like for you?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great question. And you know what it is? It's like we can talk about the complicated stuff all the time, but really the nitty gritty day to day is what gets us. It's like the devil is in the details. And so if we can't make this stuff stick, then we're kind of at a loss. It's like, great, now I understand what a savory breakfast does. I understand I need to get my blood sugar under control to get my hormones in balance. Great. But how do I make all this stick? So that's a huge component of all the stuff that I put out there and what I do with my clients. Because at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, but it's hard for me to get breakfast on the table. Yeah, but it's hard for me to get a 30-minute meal for dinner together on the table. And it's like, okay, let's figure that out, because that cannot be your undoing, right? Like it can't. Right. So I love that you bring that up about, life just gets in the way. And even though we had like amazing intentions for our resolutions, or just when we're like, I got to turn things around, my health is declining. It's like we have the motivation. It's just the key to stay consistent is absolutely little tips and tricks. So yeah, let me share some with you. So especially for something that I've found helpful and that I find helpful with my clients, first of all, like keep it simple for sure. But also like the freezer is your friend. Because I think a big component, especially like if you live in an apartment or if you're always on the go, you're working, like you don't always know your schedule to be able to do this like beautiful Instagram bento box, like meal prep. I don't really do that most of the time, honestly. You're not going to really find that on my page. Like every once in a while, I'll be like, you know what, I'm going to do a 3-hour meal prep. But it's pretty rare. For the most part, I keep it pretty small. I just prep the things I know I'm not going to have time to cook. Like, maybe a hash I'll make, or boiled eggs or something like that, just so that they're in the fridge and ready to go. And that's just smart. So it's like, grab it and go. But otherwise, it's like, I'll have a really clutch freezer, a really clutch pantry, so that there are things that are just ready to be made. So like frozen spinach, frozen vegetables, cauliflower rice, the frozen ground meats or little burgers, or, especially like in the patties, a lot of that stuff, guys, you can just throw on the stove or throw in the oven. You don't even need to defrost it. Or for the stuff that is like bigger and it's going to take a minute, defrost it in the morning before you leave. So, but a lot of things that are like thinly cut or anything like that, shrimp, scallops, like all those things, very, very easy to just toss on. I'm trying to think what else. And then I always have a lot of salad greens in the fridge. That's just easy. Like, yeah, if you want to prep some protein, if you want to get like a rotisserie chicken, like at Whole Foods, over the weekend or something, and then have that ready to go, so you can throw it over greens with a delicious, salad dressing and some avocado and maybe some vegetables if you want to throw in there. It's just very easy to coordinate a nice meal on the fly. I think another blocker with meal prep is some people don't love leftovers, or they're like, I don't know what I'm going to want to eat on Thursday. I don't know. And like my husband is like that. So even if I make all this stuff by like Wednesday, he's like, I don't want this anymore. Like, he's like, I'm done. It's over. Yeah. So it doesn't like always work for us. So I think don't get stuck in that mentality that it has to be a big 4-hour
production
meal prep. Exactly. If that's you, amazing, wonderful. But if it's not, just don't feel bad and don't let that be a blocker to you. Just leverage that freezer, leverage salad greens ready to go, leverage some quick things that are already done for you, like the rotisserie chicken, like quickly boiling, like your 6-minute eggs, things like that. So it's ready. So it's really just about being savvy in that way. Yeah. And then with the pantry, like having really good sauces that you like. I love Thrive Market. They have everything like paleo, keto, AIP. Primal. Yeah. Yes, the Primal Kitchen stuff. So they have everything you would need by diet. You could do auto ship. Like it's very, very convenient. So when we're talking about hacks and just like stuff you don't have to think about, that's really easy. And then I would also say grocery shopping online is pretty widely available now. So even if like there's Amazon Fresh, there's Whole Foods, like 2-hour delivery. And then depending on where you live, if that's not available, Instacart, if you have like a Stop and Shop, I think they have like their little thing called Peapod, a bunch of places will have their own delivery services. So you can tune into that shop online, save money. I always save money when I shop online. And those are just like a lot of things
those
that
are
I
great.
use regularly. Yeah.
Those are great. Those are solid. I mean, I do the same thing. My freezer is my friend. I've got frozen bison in there. I've got frozen wild salmon, burgers from Vital Choice. That's where
I love it. Same.
I love so much. And, and then I've also found that, I mean, I think in general, people tend to eat a lot of the same things over and over again, right? Now, it doesn't matter if it's clean, healthy, or not clean or healthy. We're all doing it. We're rotating the same food. So I have found that because I'm a creature of habit, I need to hack because I'm that woman who's like, don't know, I can get a call and I got to be in Italy tomorrow for work. And
totally.
So I can't have all kinds of super fresh food in the fridge, although I do.
And then it's going to waste and then you feel bad. Yeah.
Right. So I got the cauliflower rice, but I got Brussels sprouts in the fridge. I always have my 6-minute eggs that I'm obsessed with, and Organic Girl is a brand that I love because they make, I mean, I wish it wasn't so much plastic, but to be honest, it's just easy to grab this clean 100%. Organic salad and then mix it. And then the other part is, and I feel like these are like the accessories to the outfit, right? It's your spices,
oh yes.
Right. And you just use them in different ways, but I feel like the lemon pepper, the garlic pepper, the turmeric. I mean, and these are anti-inflammatory. I mean, these are really healthy things that you want to be incorporating in your diet anyways, right?
100%. I love that you brought that up. That's part of the like clutch pantry. If you saw my spices, like I want to see yours because I already feel like I'm your people because I have all those, but I have this like huge drawer and every time I pull it out, everyone's like, oh my God. Like, it's just like, it's like very organized and labeled. And I'm like, I'm that person. Like I'm the Monica of spices right now.
Oh my God. I love that. That's amazing.
It's amazing because that is absolutely like a necessity. And every once in a while I'll get someone in like in one of my nutrition program groups or like emailing me and they're like, what spices do I use? And I'm like, no, what? You don't, you sweetheart. Like you haven't grown up like seasoning everything. But some people haven't. So like tune into that. I love Simply Organics. Balanced Bites has really delicious. They have like everything bagel seasoning and ranch and just like fun, like blends that you can do. So I'm all about that.
Yeah, because when you put the spices and the avocado oil and you've chopped up some Brussels sprouts but you've dressed that together. I mean, how does that not taste good? And the thing is that doesn't take a long time. I mean, whether you're putting it in the oven or I put it honestly on the frying pan and just hair flip and just cover it, wild jungle hair over here. But it's so good. Just driving home the point that, there are so many ways to simplify. And I think that this goes back to the beginning of the talk where it really, this is a piece of mindset too. You have to have the mindset, right? That's going to want to
the fun, like joyful mindset of like, oh my God, I love my spices. I'm going to try a different spice on this. I think you were also circling back to saying like everyone kind of leans on similar foods. And something that I love spices for is like, okay, you might have bison most mornings, but maybe sometimes it's turmeric bison. Maybe next time it's garlic. Like spices can change things up. So when people are like, I'm bored of the same stuff, and it's like, okay, well, maybe you legitimately do need to try some new foods. But leverage, the sauces, the spices, all that other stuff to make it unique and different. Anyway, go on. Like totally.
No, totally. I mean, it's the accessories, right? It's like some days you want long earrings, some days you want the hoops, whatever. Like just mix it up. But I love that. I think that's a valuable piece because I think that it can be very overwhelming oftentimes. And so, the goal with this exchange and around this topic is to really just throw things out that, could be very helpful and supportive to simplify. And like you said, and this is again, like to really give props to you to make it fun. And I think that's a great segue into something that I really want to talk to you about because, the emotions around your food are really, really important, right? I really believe that. I mean, if food is an emotional thing, so if you're not having fun, if it's stressful, I mean, that right there is going to fuck up your digestive system, amongst other things.
100%. 100%.
And so I know that you're really big into mindful eating. And I really want to talk about this with you because, it really touches my heart. It is certainly how I function. And I do want to share that with you as well. But I would love for you first to just explain, like, what is mindful eating to you? And then why is this so important from your perspective?
Yeah. Oh, like I think I came to mindful eating a couple of ways. So when I was doing a lot of that mindset work and the journaling and all this other stuff, I had been through so many healing diets that it was starting to mess with me a little. I had already had my food blog for years. Like I think I started Food by Mars 2014.
Wow.
So it's been a while, and I love cooking, and I've always loved sharing my different recipes, and whether it was gluten-free or paleo or just like whatever I was doing. And I found more like anti-inflammatory AIP, autoimmune protocol diets, which were very healing for me, very, very good. But sometimes we can use diets, like overuse them and abuse them a bit, because it's very easy to, right? It's in our face all the time. Everyone's talking about the latest diet that they're on. There's a new diet every minute. And it's physical, like it's in front of you. You can control what's on your plate. It's very tempting to abuse that, I think, to just go head on, and you hear all these claims like it's going to do this, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to feel amazing. And it is a powerful tool. But to your point about food also being emotional. So food is medicine, but food is also emotional. And that's what I'm always saying. So it's like respect both sides of it and recognize if you need to put a tool down, like we have a lot of tools in the toolkit for healing and thriving and, living this energetic, life so that we can show up. But recognize when maybe I'm overusing the hammer a little and now I'm going to break something. You know what I mean? Like you just
totally
right down.
Well, you got to chill out a bit.
100%. And I always liken diets to tools too, because it's literally like you wouldn't use a hammer for something you need a wrench for. And that's where I say to people, sweetheart, you're eating well. You're eating very well. Good for you. And that's not it anymore. It's the mind stuff. It's the emotional stuff. It's the stuff you don't want to look at. And sometimes we're not ready to hear that. And that's okay. Like when you are, you come back to it. But just recognize when you've done that work and it's time to move on. So I was feeling that in myself. I was like, okay, I've done a lot of eliminations. And it was to the point that anytime a flare up would happen, or I just wasn't feeling my best, or I was frustrated about and anything with my health, I'd be like, oh, I bet it was the eggs. I bet it was the almonds. I bet it was the coconut. Like it was getting to a point where I'm like, okay, stop. Like,
yeah,
stop.
That's a lot of stress.
Yes. And that stress in itself is like way worse than any trigger foods or anything else. So I had to check myself, and I realized, okay, you need time to do the mindset work. And I came to mindful eating because I was exploring like the intuitive eating and just all these different types of eating and exploring how food was more emotional. And I started reading different books, and it blew me away just thinking about how, wow, I'm not present, not so present when I eat. Like, yeah, I am, but I'm rushed. I'm rushing in between meetings, or I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat next, or like, did I prep that? Or like, it was becoming very stressful. And I realized that the components of mindful eating were exactly what I needed to support better digestion and get my relationship with food back on track, because it was always a good one. I just felt like I was deterring from it with all the healing diets that I was doing. So the basic components of mindful eating is that you're present. It's mindfulness, right? So you're sitting down, you're chewing very well, you're breathing, you're acknowledging that you're eating, because the basic component about digestion and setting yourself up for healthy digestion is knowing one thing. It begins in your brain. It doesn't begin in your mouth. It doesn't begin in your stomach. It begins in your brain. And so if you're not even paying attention to the fact that you're eating, you're like watching Netflix and like shoveling food in your mouth, or you're driving and shoveling food in your mouth, your brain has not even processed that you're eating. So how can it kick off the whole domino effect that is our digestive process? It's a long process with a lot of different things involved. And when you got it wrong on step one, I mean, yeah, you're going to be bloated. Yeah, you're going to be you're not going to feel good. So it really is just, it's the best for digestion and for just, oh, wow, I'm eating, oh, beautiful colors, beautiful textures. It smells delicious. Like just tuning in and enjoying that. So I'm giving you the link, but I have a 5-day mindful eating challenge, and it seems easy, but it's pretty challenging. It's like, it's pretty challenging.
I love that. Yes. Yeah. Link is definitely in the show notes, and I'm going to help promote that because I love this so much. I'm certainly a mindful eater, so much to the fact that so my dinners they're very ceremonious, right? And everyone's life is going to be different, but I'm just going to share because people get curious about.
I love it.
So for me, it's so much more than just wanting proper digestion and wanting, all the health benefits, but it's literally reverence for the fact that I get to eat this really yummy, nutrient dense food, because by the way, it's actually a privilege to eat. And we are so far away from that concept because we have not food, but we have calories available to us 24/7, 365, right? Because there's more fake food in reality,
Absolutely.
and especially in North America, than real food. So having that mindset where it's like, this is a gift. And I have so much reverence for my food. I mean, I eat animals. So I always, specifically with dinner, not just, and again, I eat like twice a day. So, but even in the morning, it's like, I want to taste my food and I cook my food. Rare is the moment that I go out. I mean, it happens for sure, because there are places I love, and
of course, and you should.
Yeah, for sure. But I genuinely
you're connected to it when you cook too. You're even more connected.
Yes, I love it. I love the process, and then I love sitting down, and I love to eat in bowls. So I have like
me too.
Plate bowls, plate bowls are the best. I can't even imagine eating on a plate anymore.
Ever,
right? I don't remember last time. I mean, maybe when I'm out, but even then, because a lot of times I shuffle and can I do this and a side of that, and I'll be like, can you bring me a bowl?
You don't just throw all of that in a bowl. Yes,
it's so much easier. But I literally have a conversation with my food before I eat it. And, it's just, again, it's this respect, it's this love, it's this appreciation. It is connection, because at the end of the day, there is no separation between us and the plant and the animal and the thing. We are all nature. We are all connected. So I really do believe, there was a study, I'm sure you've heard about it before, but the conversations that when you spoke to the water this way, what happened to the molecules of the water?
Oh yeah.
It's like a Japanese, right? And so, we're mostly made of water. Food is too, whatever. And, this sounds very deep, but to be honest, I don't think it's deep. I just think it's respect. It's respect for the, for the feast and for ourselves. So I love that you have created this challenge, and that this is something that you promote. I mean, you have an actual ebook, like Mindful Eats, right? Is that what it's called?
I do. I have, so it's a 6-week meal plan. It's called Mindful Meals. And so it's all anti-inflammatory paleo style recipes. And that includes AIP friendly type recipes if you are following that. And each week you get a mindful eating practice to focus on. And so people will tell me after week 1, I'm not bloated anymore. I'm always bloated. I always look pregnant by the end of the day. And people just remark wow, just slowing down and chewing and breathing is very, very powerful. And it's nice to just get one a week, because it's not the way we're brought up to eat. We're always rushing. We're, like you said, it's we're surrounded by these calories, by these things, packaged foods, in the airport, it's everyone's just snack, snack, snack. So it's just a very weird thing. So the way you do it with that ceremonious attitude and just being so grateful and thinking about where your food came from, that is so beautiful.
Thank you.
That's goals. You know what I mean? That's goals for mindful eating. That's where you want to get to, because that's what grounds you and puts things in perspective. Because I think when it's I'm on a diet, I'm not on a diet. You're kind of going in all these different directions. Like you said, it's a privilege just to have food on our plates, or
really
in front of us, It's I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful that I don't even have to worry about where my next meal is coming from. I have it. I'm just worrying about if there's enough protein in it, or, stop, So I love that you just put it in perspective and can be
Thank
present.
you. Well, I think it's a love affair mutually because I don't, to be honest, I mean, I hear a lot of diet talks and all the plans and all the things, but I don't really hear the mindful part so much. So I love that you are this, you are this inspiring voice in this space.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Because it's such a huge piece of, it's like, look, when you go to the gym and when I go to the gym, I go to lift weights. I went to go lift heavy weights. I don't just go pick up my 185 and start getting after it. Like, are you kidding me? That is a disaster waiting to happen. I literally I'll just move my body and just start feeling and priming. It's called priming the body, right? Like, so I'm letting my body, I'm communicating with my body and I'm saying like, okay, ready? We got to work now. And then I start thinking about specific muscle groups and specific areas. And what am I really doing? Yes. On the one hand, I am priming my muscles, activating them, sending the signal to say it is time to work. But when you look at this overarching concept here, whether it's in the gym, like I'm mentioning, or where we just were, what are we really doing, man? We are being more self-aware and self-connected. Self-connection. This is a huge piece to how you're going to be able to love yourself more.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So this is, I'm excited to share this 5-day challenge with our episode and get as many people as possible, in action with it. So, yes, I love that so much. So wait, I have a question that I love to ask my guests. If you had a magic wand, I know you do, girl, in that clutch pantry
somewhere in there.
You got an extra
in my spice drawer.
Oh, exactly. Alison's magic wand. If you could take that clutch magic wand and, basically give the masses a healthy habit, and it could be anything, whether it's, anything, it doesn't have to be food related, just kind of like a lifestyle healthy habit that has the deepest, largest positive ripple effect, what would that be?
Oh, that's such a good question. So many things are going through my mind right now. I think that mindfulness piece, I got to go with it because I think it's what's missing in the world today. Like you said, everything is information. We have so much information. We have all the nutrition stuff. We, can go to Whole Foods or whatever and pick out all these things, and we're getting more in tune with that. And that's beautiful. But something that I still feel like is missing because it is such a daily practice is that mindfulness. So between the mindful eating and maybe just like waking up and doing that gratitude journal and breathing, I think that's huge.
I think that's really beautiful. Huge. I think that's like a sound toolkit right there.
Yeah.
And not difficult, but absolutely has a positive, impactful.
It's like, it seems so simple, but it's like, just dare yourself to try a little bit every day and fit it in, and you will see how impactful it can be.
Yeah. I think a lot of times people think it has to be this whole big thing to have this big result. And it's, I say it all the time on the podcast, you guys, inches make the mile. So you cannot, right. But it's true. And it's like, you can't underestimate these little daily habits and daily movements and daily actions that are making the macro, right? They're making the big picture. So I love that that's, you just dusted everyone with the magic wand.
100%. I love it.
I want to talk to you a little bit about emotional eating, because I think that this is a big, important part of the conversation as well. I'm just going to kick it off with I don't do desserts. I don't I grew up eating all that, Alison. Yeah. I'm 41. I'll be 42 in a couple of months, which is gnarly. It's like not gnarly in a bad way. It's
crazy. Oh my God.
What does that even mean?
Yeah,
I know. It's so crazy because I know I feel and, like I'm kicking ass on all cylinders way more than, in my 20s or my 30s. So anyways, I'm just not driven to those things because I actually, how I frame it, and I don't know if it's scientifically correct, but I literally feel, I don't feel like my microbiome craves that stuff. Right. So I don't go there. However, Hugh Kitchen cashew.
However, there's this thing. Everyone's got something, girl. Everyone's got something.
Those Hugh Kitchen chocolate cashews. Have you had them?
Wait, is it the chocolate bar with the cashew butter in it?
Well, that too, but no, they have like the chocolate covered cashews, and Hugh
Oh, I
obviously
don't
is in
think
New
I've
York.
ever
Oh my
I don't think I've
God.
tried those.
Are
Don't
you
tell me about them. Oh my God.
They're
Because
so good.
I'm a chocoholic. Like I'm with you. That's my thing too.
Well, Hugh Kitchen, I mean, it's about to become an ad, but it's like clean, pure, dark
Yeah.
chocolate, like four
I
ingredients.
know. It's just like luxury. Like it's just so good. Yeah.
So good without any garbage. But so, I'm using this as an example because there are times where I'm like, I'm craving it. And I'm like, and I check myself. So I pause, right? And I'm like, is this like a real, no, I just want some chocolate right now?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this, I'm thirsty?
Yeah.
Or is this, I need some oxytocin.
Yeah.
I need some serotonin.
Absolutely.
Maybe I've had a hard day and I just want like something
A hug or
a
yeah,
hug.
absolutely. Sometimes like for me, it's like, I need a freaking hug. Like get over here, someone.
100%. No, because truly I'll bypass that. I'll put a little stevia in my little like mushroom tea drink that. I'll go play with my little nephew, my little baby nephew. And I'm like, I'm good. But
Yes.
Why I want to point this out, because I know that this is a big piece to, your business, your practice with your clients, and you have so much knowledge in the space where it's like most people don't pause, like I just mentioned, and stop to think about this. And emotional eating is such a it's an issue.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. I think there's a thing to be said about what you just said, like pausing to think just like, okay, well, what is this? Like, is this valid? How do I want to sort of act on it? All that other stuff. So I think it's important to think to yourself, is it something else? Because you could eat the thing and then you still don't feel good because that's not really what you wanted. So I think it's important to evaluate it. And then I think it's also really important, I spoke about this on Instagram recently, to like, okay, so let's say you do indulge, let it go. Like, do not start that shame spiral, because a very common thing that will happen is like, someone will come to me and be like, well, I ate a whole like thing of almond butter because I was like trying not to do sugar. And then I did that and now I feel terrible. And, I woke up the next day saying, oh, I'm going to like not eat, or, it kicks off this crazy downward spiral. And now you've ruined days when you could have just chilled out, paused, let it go, and move on from it. So I would say like when we are practicing the mindful eating and we are more in tune with our bodies, like the way you just said, where you're asking yourself, okay, is this what I really need? Cool. I do want it. I'm going to enjoy it. And, or I need a baby snuggle or what, whatever it is, which is very powerful.
Or just a glass of water.
Oh yeah. A lot of times it's just like dehydration. Yeah. Just checking in with yourself is an amazing first step to do, because you might just forget about it and be like, oh yeah, that's not what I needed, and saved yourself or minimized, maybe it's just a little bit and that's perfect. Now you're satisfied. Really what I think it is just answering the call that you're having emotionally or physically or whatever it is, and doing it in a responsible way so that you're not like bombarding your body and you're not now kicking off this whole shame spiral.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And I think there's so much on social media between it's like the emotional eating, the intuitive eating, like all these different things and all these different opinions on it. And the bottom line is, you feel well when you nourish yourself. And there's different ways of nourishing ourselves, and just be in tune with it. That's all. Like exactly what you said.
No, totally. I think one piece that's probably useful to throw in is that, if you haven't slept well, you can guarantee that you're going to be hungrier.
You're going to have sugar cravings too. Yeah,
exactly. And so, and most people are walking around not getting quality sleep. And when it's quality, meaning deep REM, the whole thing.
Yes.
But they don't know that part, right? So it's like now they're just. And I love the piece, and I need to, just kind of expand that a little bit more. The piece about the shame that you mentioned. Yes. Because I cannot tell you how many times, people love to talk to me about their diet, their fitness, their health, because obviously. And that's the nail in the coffin. It's when they start to feel like, oh, I was doing so good. I was doing this and I was doing that. And then all of a sudden, and then I just, because they feel guilty.
They throw in the towel. Yeah.
They throw in the towel. And it's like, hold on, you could chill out and start tomorrow. Like, we're all right here.
Exactly. You know what I always say? You should use this on your clients. I'm always like, if you dropped your cell phone, would you stomp on it too? Or would you just pick it up? Because that's what people do. It's like, I ate a whole tray of brownies, so then I just also did this and did this and and it's like, what is this like thing that we do when it's like, well, I messed up once and I'm going to mess up even more, It's like
that is brilliant. And I will absolutely use that. I think
you think about it that way, it's like, oh yeah, that is like silly. Why do I do that? And it goes back to that yo-yo dieting mentality. It goes back to, there's a biological piece of it. It's not just like willpower or whatever else. There's a biological piece to it that if you were really restricting yourself and you weren't just making choices with joy, like we're talking about, and making choices like, hey, is this worth it? Is this what I want my body to feel like after? Am I in tune with my body to know what I'm going to feel like if I eat that thing? When we're instead making that decision, like, well, my trainer told me not to eat that. Well, that's bad. When that's why we're doing it, or we're doing it for a very specific, like, I just want to look good in a bikini, or I just want to do this. And it's like, that's fine. But like, if that's your entire like that's your driver, it's not going to stick. And you will likely have that on again, off again bandwagon type feeling. And that's what you don't want. When you want to make this more of a lifestyle, you want your head and your heart in the game, and you want to feel like, hey, I'm just living, I'm just making decisions. This doesn't have to be trendy. This doesn't have to be that. So that mentality is tricky, and it's like a little pitfall we can get into. So I think going back to, like you said, like chill out, let's be present. Let's tomorrow's a new day. Like, just don't do that to yourself. It's not a fun ride. And I think that your body is also like, it's that diet mentality and that primal brain that kicks in when it's like, oh my God, she hasn't eaten this in so long. Like, let's fill up on it. It's
Totally.
like, I'm not allowed to have this, and I'm not going to be able to have it again. So let me just eat the whole thing. And it's like, no, allow yourself to make the decision, what's going to happen if I eat that? Is it worth it? Yes. Okay, cool. I'm going to have a little bit versus I'm going to eat the whole tray and now I feel terrible. So yeah, it's a very much of a moderation.
I love that. I love what you just pointed out too, because I think, it's like having a strong why. And, it's funny when I look at food, I mean, there's not one thing that, let me frame it like this. I eat absolutely everything that I want. Do I manage portions at times? Like, do I sometimes relax, like on those cashews right now?
Yes. Yes.
Like,
because you're like,
that's a real thing. I'm like, I didn't earn it yet. Like, that's just how I feel, Yes. So, everybody has a different mindset around this, but, but for the most part, my point is that like, there is nothing, I don't want a lot of things that maybe a lot of people might want, but that is because the food that I eat is so yummy to me, and it's so giving my body what it needs, that there is no deprivation. There's literally, it's only desire.
That's the key. Deprivation right there. Yep. That's right? The key. If you're feeling deprived on some level, because some nutritionist or some trainer or some Instagram influencer told you don't eat that, you're now deprived. Right. And so it's only a matter of time. It's going to slap back at you on a stressful day or whatever. So this is why, like, to your point, there's the mindset. It just ties. I always say it's the glue. I can teach you all the things. I can talk to you about Start Savory. I can tell you about the anti-inflammatory this and that, and the tricks and the freezers and all this other stuff. But if you're not loving it, if you're not feeling like, hey, I'm nourishing my body, I'm loving the tastes, I'm all this other stuff, and whatever, you don't need to be like Martha Stewart about it. I'm not saying it has to be that you're like so in love with food, but just at least loving that you're nourishing yourself, or loving the practice, or just something joyful, that you can bring to it. When we're operating from deprivation, it's not going to be good.
No, it's not going to be good. I love that so much. You don't have to be,
because some people are like, yeah, but I just don't love food that much. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that's fair. And like, not everyone needs to love it, I guess.
But I wonder, I would argue almost, and you know, it may very well be the case, but I'm like, well, are you really eating food? Or are you eating, like real food? And, cause it's like, what? This is like,
I know. For me, it's hard to understand. I'm with you. I'm like, I want the pretty bowl. I want the delicious vegetables. Like I want it to be a thing, and I want it to feel good. I'm so with you. But I have known some people that it's a little bit more mechanical. It's like, yeah, whatever, I eat to
Yeah.
stay and it's like, cool, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
that's
Sure.
you. Yeah, but it's like I happen to like freaking love it and think it's beautiful and
It's
like to
completely
cook.
romantic. It's totally
100%. 100%.
It's like,
We need to go out to like a restaurant.
We'll be in New York
right now.
Yeah. I'll be there in a couple weeks.
Oh, amazing. Okay. We gotta set it up.
We gotta plan it. I want to ask you, what's your favorite part about what you do? You help women. Your focus is really, or like a lot of your clients are mostly women, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you help them obviously with the mindset about the diet, digestion, healing hormones, autoimmune issues, like just creating a lifestyle with this kind of healthy nutrition. What's your favorite part about it?
I think when someone says to me, like that they don't feel they have to quote unquote diet again, that they're just in tune with their body and know how to nourish it. Like that is my goal. It's not about what diet, what this, what that, like those are tools once again, like that we use, we can recruit, we can figure out, use them as templates. It's ultimately about you learning to tune into your body, give it what it needs, and find joy in nourishing yourself so that you don't constantly need something. You don't constantly need a program, a diet, a this, a that. You just are answering the call of your body because, as you know, things change, throughout our lives, whether we're stressed, whether we move to a different area, we're working a night shift, a day shift, like things will change always in our lives. And if we have that one tool, like I know how to listen to my body, you're set up. So that's my favorite part.
That's beautiful. I love that. And I'm so with you on that. It's a very empowering tool to have a very deeply rooted connection with your body, with yourself. I mean, you're in you until you're over. Yes, it's like you want to have a sound relationship and connection. Okay. So another thing I love to do with my guests is I have some rapid fire words. So like,
oh goodness.
Yeah, they're just like virtues or, core values, intangibles, fun stuff.
Okay.
You could just, whatever comes top of mind or top of heart.
Okay.
When you hear them, I'm going to ask you, but before I ask you, or before I start shooting these words at you, is there anything that you want to speak to, that you want to share that maybe you don't, get asked about often or have not yet?
No, I think we've covered so much ground, so I feel really good about it.
Okay, perfect. I just love asking it because you never know. You're like, actually, I want to talk about like this, I'd be like, girl, yes, I just want to keep talking to you. So I love it. You are such a wealth of knowledge, joy, and beautiful energy.
So are you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama. All right. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
No competition. Here we go. Love.
Oh my God. Life.
Totally. Literally. Confidence.
Woman.
Challenge.
Keep going. That's 2 words.
That's okay. Yeah, it doesn't have to be one word. It's just more of like what it means to you, what it feels like, that whole thing.
Yeah, like keep going. Yeah.
I love it. Fear.
Love.
Interesting.
I think because fear is always tripping us up, and I choose love over fear. So I have fear, but I choose love.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. Courage.
I literally thought of the lion from Wizard of Oz.
That's so brilliant.
So that's all I got on that one.
That's perfect. Well, I am always posting about like a lioness, lion, and
amazing. Perfect.
Yes, I love it. That guy was so amazing. Okay, excellent.
Excellent. Like striving, I think. Striving for excellence, right? We're always trying to be better. Oh, yeah. I would think, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's Black Belt Beauty, is like turning your best and better every single day. It's like,
hells yeah.
Excellence is fast. I'm just trying to keep up. Last word is resilience.
Grit.
I love that. Grit is such a good word too.
Yeah, I love that word. I think I learned about it in some growth mindset book, just about like having that grit, you know what I mean? Having that grit. And I think, that's really amazing.
It's such an important, it's a very important core value, intangible, I think, to be operating life from, right? You're like a mommy of a little cute baby that I can hear in the background, and I love it. I'm going to let you get back to now, but like, just to be able, I mean, honestly, Mama, I want to honor you and appreciate you because, you know, you're such a contributor. Again, like props to our girl, Gabrielle, because I get chills, you know, to connect us. And, you know,
she knows the best people.
She really does. Like it's so, So, I just want to thank you publicly for everything that you're doing, the way you show up in your life, you know, for you, for the world around you, and everything that you're offering, you know, all of us, because you're truly contributing. So thank you.
I can't thank you enough for having me on. I'm so proud to be on your amazing podcast. And seriously, I feel the same way about you. Like, you're just kicking butt and taking names and sharing that with everybody and making them feel like they can do it too. So I just love it. It was wonderful to chat with you.
Thank you so much, girl. All right. So Instagram, I feel like, is that where you're the most active on?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Come follow me, DM me, whatever you want. I'm on there every day.
Food by Mars. I'll have all of it in the show notes. We'll have the 5-day challenge. And then also come March, which is right around the corner.
Yeah.
What are you doing in March? What are we doing?
So I'm doing a small private group coaching for women, and it's going to be nutritional therapy, mindset coaching, everything. We're going to be checking in weekly and getting you like a personal roadmap, just with like your meal template, supplements, everything that's going to be like the most impactful for you. So I'm really, really excited about that, because I think doing that one-on-one and community work is the most powerful way to do this stuff. So I'm excited, and I'll be doing that more often. So,
and that's online, because you're based in New York, but this is for,
it's all remote. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. You guys, I mean, get on it. Seriously. Like, who doesn't want to hang out with you? You just make everything fun, and just like,
you're so cute.
I'm so ready to like go run the beach now. So I'm all elevated and shit. So.
I love it.
All right, girl. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I can't wait to do it again with you and to meet you in real life in New York very soon.
Oh, absolutely, girl. All right. Thank you.
Lots of love. Bye.
You too.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode, you guys. If you loved it, please share it on your social. Throw it up on your Instagram stories and tag me. I'm at Black Belt Beauty. I am also at Roxy Look, RoxyLook. I love connecting with you guys. This is a conversation that I want to just continue growing with you guys. So if you feel inspired to hit me up, do so in that space. I always enjoy hearing from you. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so by rating it and reviewing it via iTunes. It's such supportive help, you guys. It really helps the visibility of this podcast. So I appreciate and thank you in advance for doing that. And last but not least, if you are interested in starting your own podcast, or perhaps you already have one and you need help with, editing your audio and the production of it, I cannot recommend my producers enough. Resonate Recordings, you guys, they are the bomb. I rely on them. They are an absolute supportive tool to me and my podcast. So check them out and let them know that Black Belt Beauty sent you. And on that note, you guys, I'm signing off with all my love and always looking forward to catching you on the next.